Yo guys, Punkrat another video. So for the last, I guess, maybe 4 or 5 days, I've just been doing solo Maraudon farms. I'm sure you guys have heard of it before. It's one of the main reasons why I rolled Hunter, at least for the first phase of Classic WoW, because I really wanted to execute on this farm run specifically and have an easy access to gold without professions or anything really too tedious. So I spent the last couple days just practicing this farm and, really studying the nuances of it and developing my own strategy on how to do it effectively. And I've gotten to the point where in my current gear level, I'm able to do one run every 20 minutes, I'd say. So that's 3 runs per hour. And each run is a minimum of, I say, about 10 gold per. So it's at least minimum right now 30 gold per hour for me. But the better gear that you get, or if you're selling Blackstone ring runs, potentially it can shoot up all the way to 50 gold per hour. So if you're not familiar with this farm, it's basically a hunter, warlock, or priest specific farming route or farming session that you can go into Maraudon, skip most of the trash and kill 3 specific bosses, then reset the dungeon ID and kill them again and do it pretty much as many times as you can within the hour. It's just vendor trash, I guess, in a certain sense, but it sells for a good amount since they're blue dungeon items. Especially the weapons can sell for anywhere from like 3 to 5 gold. So that's pretty much it. I really want to show you guys everything that I've learned and exactly what I'm doing on my farm runs to run it as efficiently as I am. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so first thing, you zone into Maraudon. It's pretty simple. You're in this sort of starting area with the Hydras, and you should probably have mining if you're doing this farming run, or herbalism since there's ghost mushrooms. So right here in the starting zone, there's a couple little spots on these little pillars, I guess you could say, where you can pick up some mithril. It's a nice little additional gold, and we'll be calculating it in the total gold farmed. So right here, you see you just run down the tunnel. It's nothing too special. You can pretty much just make your way past everything. And then in this second room over here, there's 3 specific spots again where you can pick up mithril. So you see here, I got the middle spawn. I'll just grab it, no problem. And it's pretty much on my path. So it's not like you're going out of your way to pick up the mithril. You might as well get it. Now, once you get to this spot over here, you'll see I'll summon my pet, and I'll actually wait for these rock elementals. See the rock elemental pats? You want to wait for these guys to go down the hall, and then right here, they're going to turn back around and then start patting upwards. You want to wait for them to come back. So here they're turning around. We're going to wait for them to come back, and we're going to wait for them to start patting up the, staircase, in a certain sense. So there you go. They're coming back. Wait for them to go by, and then it's time to engage the engineer or the goblin boss. I have a pretty unique strategy here. A lot of other hunters are using bandages in order to survive this. I don't. What I do is I send my pet in first to get aggro. I'll aim shot, multi-shot combo, and then I'll feign death right off of that, giving aggro to my pet. Then I'll combo again, and on the first flame breath, I'll bring my pet back. As you guys saw that I did there, every single time the flame breath goes off, I'll bring my pet back. Then I'll feign death again, and it'll get sent back onto my pet, and I'll just be bouncing threat between me and my pet, and we'll both split the damage that boss is doing. And that way I don't have to waste a bandage, I don't have to waste a health pot whatsoever. I can just keep bouncing the threat between me and my pet. Also keep in mind that the boss specifically can cast the sort of fear bomb, I guess we'll call it. It's a bomb that sends your pet running in a random direction, and he can run into the snakes and aggro them, and then it becomes a whole mess whenever that happens. Just feign death, or sometimes you can salvage it if you get the boss, or if the boss is hitting your pet. What you could do is actually just feign death, and then once your pet dies, the boss will stay aggro to you since you're hitting him, but the snakes will just run away. Now over here, we're going to get Rockgrip, who's the crocodile. Now, you'll notice that I just left my pet there. I left my pet there specifically because I don't want my pet to be engaged during the time that I'm kiting Rockgrip. I want my pet to stay away, because if he's following me or following Rockgrip, there's a chance that he can pull some ads as I'm running through all of the corridors, kiting Rockgrip to Princess's room, because that's exactly what I want to do, is I want to kite Rockgrip all the way to Princess's room. Now you'll see here, I purposely pulled the Hydra because I want to show you guys, sometimes you'll pull Rockgrip and he'll pull a Hydra with him automatically just through his pathing. So it's something that you're going to have to deal with. It's pretty simple. Don't worry if you pull the Hydra with Rockgrip. All you have to do is cast Concussive Shot. So here, I just want to show you guys really quick. You can pick up mithril here. There's another spot, mithril, in this room specifically, there's 3 or 4 different spots where mithril can spawn. I'm not going to get this one specifically because Rockgrip was on his pat down at the bottom of the water. So I'm going to skip this mithril, But in general, if Rock Grip's on his swimming path all the way around at the other side, you have time to go pick up the Mithril before he comes back and you're able to actually pull him. So here, you see I'm just going to make my way around these rumblers, and then I'm just going to keep kiting him. I'm not too worried about doing damage. You can weave auto attacks here, but I really don't think it's necessary. And with my strategy, specifically when I'm pulling my pet after, once I get into Princess's room, it's going to make up for any lost time. So just bring him up. Over here, watch out for all rumblers. There's rumblers that are actually padding throughout all of these different corridors, up the ramps and everything. So you constantly want to be paying attention, or you can have track elementals, which is a hunter ability that allows you to track elementals in your vicinity on your minimap, and you can see where they're at. So just always be conscious on these paths. Over here as well, there's some rumblers that can go through this tunnel and a big guy that can go through this tunnel, so you have to really pay attention. You can sometimes be screwed over by it entirely if the timing is really awkward. But on this run, it was pretty decent, no worries. And I'm just going to bring it to the bridge. I'm not too worried again about weaving auto attacks here, even though I have gotten Rock Grip down a decent amount as I've been kiting him through. And then the moment I get here, I'm calling my pet. So right here, I'm going to call my pet, and that's why I out of ranged him earlier. Notice I didn't dismiss him, but I just run out of range. And when you run out of range of your hunter pet, he'll just disappear, and then you can just instantly call him back, no problem. As a warlock, you can't really do this, but it's not really an issue. As a warlock, you'll most likely be sacrificing either your Voidwalker or your Succubus, and you'll basically just be solo kiting on the ramp. I'd suggest to go check out Stay Safe's video on this specifically, and I think Hydramist is his name. I think it's Hydramist, right? Yeah, the priest, the rank 1 gladiator priest, he's been doing it. So you guys can check out, if you're a priest, his guide specifically, but this, I'm just doing it on a hunter. Now here's where I do something a bit interesting. You'll notice that I'll kill Rock Grip here, but there's still the Hydra. Now what I did here is I actually left my pet at the back. So I pulled him off of Rock Grip right before I killed Rock Grip. And then I ran out of range of my pet once again. He disappeared. And then once my pet wasn't there anymore and it was just me left with the Hydra, and then I'll just feign death and the Hydra won't go back to my pet because my pet's disappeared already. So kill Rock Grip, feign death, the Hydra disappears, and then summon my pet back. Really simple. I feel like that saves a good amount of time. Then it's time to drink. Really, really simple. Nothing, too intense to explain here. And then it's time to engage Princess. Princess, I'd say, initially she's pretty difficult to deal with, but honestly, once you get used to her, she's quite easy. I'd say she's probably the boss that I have the least issues with. She's the boss that takes the most time, but it's no big deal. So you'll just mark her up, aim shot, multi-shot her onto an immolation trap. And then I like to bring her around this little rock over here. The reason I like to do that is because I like to kite her the other way around. And that's just because of my camera. I'd rather have her on my left side personally and run to the right. I can see her nice when she's on my left side. When it's on the right side, when she's on my right side and I'm running left, it just feels a bit awkward. Maybe that's because I'm a righty. I don't know exactly why, but I just prefer kiting her this way specifically. But this fight is kind of like a war of attrition, I guess, in a certain sense. Probably the wrong term to use, or the wrong way to describe it. But it's basically just a slow roll. It's like a longer fight where you're just trying to take her down slowly. So she's got a couple abilities here. You'll notice this one is the first one. She casts a sort of dust storm thing, and what I do is you want to bait that out ideally. So right there I use my Barrel Peasant Collar trinket, and it puts all the little minions on her, and whenever she has a target in her melee radius, every 30 seconds she can cast an ability called Dust Storm, or maybe it's called Dust Field, something like that. So you want to be triggering it. You're either going to be triggering it with your pet or with pets summoned with engineering trinkets or Barrel Peasant Collar. Like I guess a mechanical chicken could do the exact same thing. And then she's also got an ability called Boulder, where she throws a boulder at you and it'll basically knock you back, and you have Aspect of the Cheetah on, so if it hits you, it kind of screws you over because it's going to daze you. Then she's going to catch up to you and basically butt plug you. So right when she throws the boulder at you, if it's about to hit you, you just want to disable Aspect of the Cheetah, and keep in mind that you can do it relatively late. The ability can knock you back, but the boulder won't hit you yet and the damage won't occur. So right as you get knocked, you can just disable it. It's no problem. But you'll notice that I send my pet in for a half a second, and then he triggers the dust field. And also another little tactic that I like to do is I'll stall my pet. So you see how I just left my pet there? I made my pet stay, which is my control 3 function. And then when she runs by my pet, since my pet is right next to her, since I've made him stay in one position, she'll start casting the dust AoE, or the dust field, or whatever it's called, the dust storm. And then another thing that I like doing, I'm pretty sure you'll see it right here. So right when I get to this corner, I'll make my pet stay, and then I'll trigger him to run right next to her. And then I'll use my pet's dash ability where he sprints, and he's gonna sprint right through her. See, I just dashed, and then he sprints right through her and triggers the dust storm right there. So you basically just want to find little tactics and stuff to trigger that dust field, and that's going to allow her to just stay, or that's going to allow you to hit her since she's just staying there, casting that AoE sort of pulse nature damage aura. And it's pretty much that. You just want to be doing that over and over again. So she's got the boulder that she's going to try to throw at you. You can out of range it. You out of range it, and she'll just be standing there awkwardly. You can turn around, give her an auto, maybe in a multi-shot, and then keep running. And then if it hits you, just disable your aspect of the cheetah really quick, so you don't get dazed, and then reapply it onto yourself, no problem. And then you want to be triggering her dust AoE by sending your pet in for half a second and pulling him back, or something like that. And then the last thing that I want to mention is that once she gets to about 20%, she starts losing movement speed. So the lower that you get her, from I think like 25% to 0, she starts walking slower. So once you get her down there, your rapid fire is probably going to come off cooldown if you use it right off the start, and you can start weaving auto attacks really nice when she starts moving really slowly. So essentially, you want to play aggressively once you get her near 20%, because she's going to be moving slow, and you can just weave a ton of auto attacks. Now, if we look at the yield for this run specifically, like I said, I did 4 runs, and it was about an hour and 20 minutes, give or take, maybe 125. And in that time, I got 36 gold flat just from vendoring everything that I got from the boss drops. I got 2 green items, which disenchant value was about 6 gold. I got 29 mithril, which is around 7 gold if you turn them into bars or ore, depending on what's more expensive at the time. Right now on my server, I'd say 7 to 8 gold is pretty good for 29 mithril. I got 40 solid stones, which right now is about 3 to 4 gold. Let's say 3 gold and 50 silver for the 40 solid stones. I got 2 greens, which disenchant value, which is what I'm doing. I send them to a friend who disenchants them, and it's about 6 gold in terms of disenchant value on average. So that's about 52 gold and 50 silver. It's quite decent for an hour and 20 minutes of farming. Now, if my gear was better and if my efficiency got a lot better as well, I could easily be making this gold in about an hour, so maybe about 50 gold an hour. But right now, I'd say it's about 30 gold an hour for me personally at my pace, which is really, really good. And I know a lot of people have thumbnails with however much gold they're making. For the most part, people are making about 30 gold with the best farms per hour right now. Although I think warlocks are making a little bit more doing Maraudon farms just because they can kill princess so fast. It takes me basically like, I'd say maybe 8 minutes, 7 to 8 minutes just to kill princess on a hunter, because she's immune to serpent sting, so I can't use any nature damage against her, and I'm constantly just having to weave autos while, kiting her in circles, and it takes pretty much forever to kill her, where warlocks pretty much just dot her, run away, and she dies super fast with the full set of dots on her. So there we go. There you have it, guys. That's the Maraudon solo farm. I've had a really good time perfecting this. I haven't perfected it, but I feel like I've learned a lot, and I've got to a point where I'm farming it quite efficiently. I'd say most hunters that I've spoken to are struggling really hard, and I'm getting 3 runs per hour, which I think is really, really good. 30 gold an hour is really nothing to scoff at in vanilla. And at first, honestly, I got my ass kicked by this. It's different from what it was in the private server world. It's a lot harder, especially since she's immune to all nature damage, and her armor values are really, really high, princess specifically. But once you get your ass kicked and you start learning valuable lessons, and you start reforging your strategy a little bit, you can get to a point where it's quite good. So don't be scared to do Maraudon farms, guys. As a hunter, it's definitely doable. It's quite good, and hopefully this guide helps you guys achieve some pretty good gold per hour. So that's pretty much all I got to say for this one. I really hope you guys liked it. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, of course, the drill, soldiers. Hit the notification bell to be notified every single time I post a new video straight out of the render oven. And with that said, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.